Welcome to the Friday at 4 podcast series with your host Charles Luttrell and co-host Steve Kent.
Steve, welcome back to the Friday at 4 podcast series, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. How about you?
It's been one of those roller coaster weeks where I'm up and down, up and down,
Right.
up and down, in and out, sliding around, and all kinds of craziness going on. But it's all
Okay.
working out. And here we
Good.
are. We made it to the next Friday and we're rolling. How about
Good.
yourself?
Yeah, it was an interesting week. Whenever there's a holiday, it always throws me off.
Yeah,
So
same here.
when it was Tuesday, I thought it was Monday. When it was Wednesday, I thought it was Thursday. So
Yep,
I'm all over the place. But
same thing, buddy.
luckily it's Friday, so we're good.
Yeah, and I'm happy to be here, man. I'm happy to bring this discussion up because I think it's a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
I think we decided like I think this is a great topic, and it just fits, what we're doing onto another great topic
Yeah.
of the Friday at 4,
Yeah.
and I would love anybody who's watching this to, comment their opinion as well after we're finished with this because I think it's a great topic. And I don't want to use the word that what was suggested. I don't like the word collapse, but I think most businesses don't. And what would be a good word for this? Not collapse, but most businesses struggle, maybe, or
Mhm.
or don't fall overnight. I don't like that word collapse, right? They
No, it's not
slowly,
collapse. They
right? They
they
slowly,
slip,
maybe
they
not even
slide,
fail, right?
they yeah.
Yeah, right. Not even fail, because they slowly diminish and slowly fail, from comfort, right? So when you get in that comfort zone, now we've all been there. You've done it,
Hmm.
I've done it, I still do it. And they really do slowly fall in that comfort zone.
Yeah.
And obviously with me, after visiting several businesses through my show and what I do all
Mm.
over America, I'm definitely getting out there. I and we can tell you that customers absolutely notice the difference, right? I mean, you
They do.
know, yeah. The customers, the customers see it, they notice it. I know the business owner definitely can feel it, especially with the economy. And
Hmm.
the employees can definitely see it and feel it because what they're going through, right? So let's get into this thing, man.
It's a great topic. In any economy, certainly in a tough one like we're in now, it takes a lot to just break even, let alone become really successful. And I had a business, and I've made no bones about hiding this before. I had a business that failed miserably for a bunch of reasons, but I've rebounded. So I understand to a certain smaller scale that when a business finally gets to that point, and I am happy, more than happy that a business does get to that point because I love to see success. Or if it's not me, it doesn't matter. I love to see success.
Yeah.
So when a business gets to that point, that's awesome. And they may have markers and other things they use to track the success. What's working? Keep doing it. What can I make better? Make the changes. Get to the next level, next marker, next marker, next marker, and keep moving up and up and up because we should never say, I've arrived. Because once you sit and you get to that point that you say, I've arrived, you take your foot off the gas pedal.
Yeah.
And that's the point of this whole discussion today.
Yeah.
So and it's across industry, it doesn't matter what they do, it doesn't matter. When the owner or owners stop looking to get better and again think they've arrived, things start to slip slowly,
Yeah.
slowly. So it could be maybe you don't market enough. Maybe that you want to cut expenses so you don't stay with those marketing companies that got you to that level. It could be maybe you slow down your social media presence or you change the presence so people no longer resonate with the message. Could be any number of things at that level. Then you sit there and say, okay, I'm making a lot of money. I want more. Now, there's always that greed factor, and you're entitled as a business owner to make money. I get that. But
Sure.
what's the greed factor? Now, the greed factor says, can I substitute one ingredient with another? If you're in the food industry, can I substitute? I don't even know what's in there. A different version of meat, of chicken, of vegetables, of whatever your thing is. Are you substituting a lower quality product?
Yeah.
Are you making the portions slightly smaller?
I actually
What?
had the conversation today, that very conversation about they are giving you less for more money. And the
Hmm.
topic said, well, if you look at the ingredients and they talked about the beef and the
Hmm.
cheese, they could tell the difference by the look and the taste that it wasn't the
Yeah,
same a year ago when they made the same visit to this establishment. So yeah,
yeah,
that's a thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Customers do know that, and that's on the food side. And again, that's your well, one of your specialties
One of
is
my
food. I
specialties,
mean, I
right?
know you go wider than that, but one of your specialties is food. And when you go in and talk to a business owner, why is business down? And then you start having those conversations, and this is one of them. So that's on the food side. But what if you're providing some product? All of a sudden, the product that maybe used to last 5 years now lasts 2 years or 6 months because it's inferior quality of product. It could be you're using plastic instead of metal. Could be you're using, um, glue instead of a screw to put something together, so the glue comes apart. I don't know, whatever it is. The point is the quality of the product is going down. And to your point, what you said before, customers see it. Customers are not stupid. They become loyal to you because they're coming in, they're going to pay for a certain product or service, and they come to expect a certain level. So
That's
if
so
that
true.
product or service is not meeting their needs that you, as the business owner, have gotten them accustomed to,
Right.
they're going to start to say, what's going on?
Yep.
They may give you one chance, they may give you two chances. But if things don't get better, they're going to head for the hills and go to the competitor.
Yeah. And two things, right? Two things. One, I like to tie this to putting your car on cruise control, right?
Mhm.
You built the business, you got the car, you got on the highway, you're making the money. You know what? I don't have to do 70 miles an hour now. I'm making money. I'm gonna put it on cruise control. We're just going to cruise along now. We're making
Mhm.
money.
Yep.
And now things start to slide because you feel like you don't have to pay attention to these things, right? Because now you think your business is on cruise control. You're just flying along the highway and then your things slip because you're not paying attention to, the timing, your servers, your employees, and whatever the business may
Mhm.
be. You're not really paying attention to what's happening behind the scenes because you're so focused on the cruise control that all of a sudden you don't really pay attention to the numbers. And then I can give you those numbers through my Star Performance Index report that can show you from the customer standpoint, from your business standpoint, the numbers and your competitors that can show you don't stay on cruise control too long because you will slip and fall. And then again, you're going to see how those things are starting to slowly taper off. You be and catch it before you get in trouble because you don't want to stay in that spot too long because that's when you can obviously as we talk about you could fail because as you're stuck in that mode, not paying attention before you know it, you're looking back like, what happened? What did I do? Where did I go wrong? And it creeps up
Sure.
on you over time, right?
It is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So part of it is the the good or service, could be the food, could be the widget, whatever you're buying. but it's also as the business owner or owners, now you're looking at saying, well, the two most expensive things are your real estate, your rent, your mortgage, whatever you have, and your salaries. So, do you then turn around and say, I got my loyal fan base, they're buying my good or service, I'm backed up, I'm back ordered, I have this great thing going. Maybe I can do with one less customer facing person or two less customer facing people. The customers may not notice one person missing, but now it's two, then it's three, then it's four. And if as a business owner, all you're looking at is profit, 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 you're losing the source of that profit. And the source of that profit is your customer buying your merchandise. Okay? So,
Right.
I live in New York City, well, just outside Manhattan. It depends how you define New York City, but I'm just outside Manhattan. And a couple of weeks ago, I went into Manhattan to a restaurant and I had been there before. And classic, I'm not going to tell you which one. Classic example. I walked in. Now, I'm not high end. I don't need the fancy stuff. That's just not me. But it
It's
was
not
just a
you.
standard, it was a lunch. It was in a decent place, nothing super fancy. And I remember the last time I was there were a lot of servers, the wait staff, running around, tending to people, making sure they were okay. Can we help you? Can you do this, do that? And I walked in this time, and I think they cut the staff by half because
Wow.
it was hard to find a wait person. It was hard to flag them down, place your order. It took 15 minutes to get, the drink. It took 45 minutes to get the food. And I was ready to walk out, but I know the place was good. And I sat there afterwards and I'm saying to this conversation, what went wrong? And I started looking around, and part of it was less staff. Part of it was the food was not the same quality. And again, I'm not super high end, but I know enough for basic stuff. Again, I'm not at that level. I get it. Okay. And I'm admitting that. Okay. But, but even to me, to my somewhat normal average palate, I could tell the difference. And if I could tell the difference, so could a more sophisticated customer.
What a great example, right? Because you just said the very thing that I focus on. That's exactly what I do with my business.
Hmm.
I take that example and I look at your reviews, I look at everything that's going on,
Mhm.
I make a visit undercover, and I show you what's happening, what was happening, what is happening, why you are the way you are, and where you stand with your competitors. What a perfect example. And I couldn't wait to get a hold of you and say, dude, who is this? What is this? Let's get there. Let me get there. Let me take care of this. I got excited. I got excited for their misery and your misery, because that's what I do. I fix that very problem, and it can be fixed. You know,
It can be fixed if you want to.
Mhm.
So
Get out of that
part of
comfort
it,
zone, right?
right. So there's a couple of parts to that. One part is business owner or owners could be at that level and they don't care, which hopefully
Yeah,
is not the case. But again, it's a
yeah,
potential problem. So part of it is they may not care because they're making money. Part of it is they know it, but they don't want to do something about it. And that kind of goes back to you, where you go in and you talk to people and they know something's wrong, but they don't know why and they don't want to hear it. So that could be a potential issue. Part of it is, in some cases, depending on the size of the business, they got close with the staff, which is okay because then, in theory, if the staff and the management are somewhat in alignment, they should be in alignment, but if they're somewhat close, then it builds that bond where the owner or owners don't want to necessarily make the changes to upset the staff. But if the staff, again, depending on the situation, if the staff doesn't get told we need to change direction, maybe we need to maybe cut hours a little bit, maybe we need to do something. If you don't make that change, you risk the continued slide downhill, and then over time, the business could go away. Then everybody's out.
I'm
So,
glad, I'm glad you said that because over the past 2 weeks, I've been out into a lot of places
mm,
and I have walked in and walked out a lot of places just
mm,
due to the fact of the environment.
wow.
Didn't feel right.
Mm,
Nobody was there. And I got to tell you, I was just in a restaurant yesterday that has really made me, I'm going to just say it, it's pissed me off
mm,
because we talked about this place, how they keep raising their prices,
mm,
and it's a cheap establishment.
mm.
It's cheap food. It's horrible food. It's not good for you. It's not healthy, but it was cheap. It was enough to get me through the day for a survival mode, right? They've raised their prices so much I don't go there anymore. But they still have the cheapest drink out there because I love my root beer. Got to have my root beer. I'm like you with the cookies, man. You know, I
Okay.
need my root beer daily. I need my daily root beer for my lunch, man. I eat my sandwich with my beer, right? So I go to this place yesterday. No lie. Now I think I've said this story. The kiosk. If you go to kiosk and you order it, the ticket gives you, but you can't pay it because it doesn't work. So you got to go to the counter anyway to pay with the ticket.
Okay.
So I don't do that. I didn't use the app anymore because the app always crashed and said, "Oh, sorry, something went wrong. We canceled your order. We're going to refund your money. Order again." So I quit. I just uninstalled the app. So
Right.
now the only option is I walk in and I go to the counter. Well,
Mm,
there's nobody there. Yesterday, I'm not lying. I stood in this local 1,000 billion chain crappy restaurant to get a root beer,
mm,
stood there for over 6 minutes, and nobody ever acknowledged me, said, "I'll be right with you," or
mm.
nothing. A
Wow.
female employee walked by me 3 times, looked at me, just did her stuff with her food, and went right back into the kitchen. Another blue shirt manager turned around and looked at me, turned around and kept working on the drive-through stuff because the drive-through is more important now than you standing inside.
Mm.
I stood there, I went, "I'm gonna give him another minute." And about 20 seconds went by, I completely walked out and went to another place to get my root beer.
Wow.
Talk about comfort zone, right? So these people got comfortable with, we don't care about that counter. The drive-through is
Mm,
the important
mhm.
thing. Let's get to the drive-through. And those people can do what they want with the kiosk or the app or whatever. I'm not going to wait on them inside anymore.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt.
Wow. That's
Horrible,
unfortunate.
right? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
horrible.
There's got to be, and I don't know, every business is different, and so I can't make a specific statement, but as a general statement, a business should be staffed, even at a minimum. In the case you just said, maybe one person at the counter, maybe one person to take care of the drive up window, and maybe one person inside to do the cooking, fill the orders, whatever else. Even at a minimum of three, but you're covering all bases.
Let me tell you, I was in Delaware, and there is one of these locations in Delaware because I frequent this place on a regular basis.
Hmm.
The owners would be, and it's a husband and wife duo who owns several of these places, and
Hmm.
they would happen to be there. And I will tell you, when somebody was waiting at that counter to get waited on, that owner got up and got in the person's face and said, "You make sure you always have somebody at this register to take an order. I don't care what we do. If somebody's there, you wait on them."
Mhm.
So they made it work. But I
Nice.
don't think these other places really, again, they're comfortable with who cares about the counter. We got our drive-through. That guy can do what he wants,
Mhm.
right? But
Right.
this guy gets it. This guy understood it.
Hmm.
And when you walk into this place, you get waited on. You feel like you're important to them. You get what you need. You get in, you get out. And it's always a clean place, and they have signs up on the wall. If you're not happy, here's the cell phone number to call to reach to
Right.
me to say what happened.
Nice.
You know?
That
Yeah. But
That's
I'm not driving 60 miles to get a root beer. That's a little much.
no,
So
I hope not. Okay.
you defeat the purpose.
Yeah. But see, that's the type of owner who understands I'm only successful and the business is only successful when the customer is happy.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying you have to bend over backwards. I'm not saying the customer is always right, but at least pay attention to the customer.
And something I didn't think about, Steve. Was this location franchised owned through McDonald's? Oh, I said it through McDonald's. Or was it, is it owned individually? Because this one in Delaware is owned individually.
Okay.
He is the owner. He owns about seven of them. And
Wow.
everyone I go to with their sign in it,
Hmm.
those stores are run very well. But this franchise locally here, one of them, it's been like this for a very long time, and I will
Hmm.
never go back again. It's
Wow.
awful. It's awful.
And it's amazing because anybody walking in to place an order, you don't know if they're going to order a drink or $100 worth of hamburgers or
Yep.
whatever, fries, shakes. What you don't
Yeah.
know what they're going to order.
Yeah.
You have somebody that walks into a jewelry store.
Yep.
Are they going to buy a $25 little pin or are they going to spend 10 grand on an engagement ring? You don't
Yeah.
know. But
Yep.
if you don't pay attention and at least have the conversation, you're going to lose a potential sale. And then referrals that hey, I had a great time. They waited on me. I got what I wanted. They were great. People are going to come in as
Yeah.
opposed to saying they ignored me. I was there 20 minutes, didn't even get a hi, how you doing? How can I help you? And I'll never go back, and neither will anybody else.
Yeah.
So you don't know. And
And
there
I
is a
think,
tough line in there.
too, a lot of these a lot of these fast food places now, particularly McDonald's, they don't care anymore
Mm.
because they don't want to work. They don't really care about the establishment. They're just there to hang around, get money, and go home whenever they
Yeah.
get off their shift. And it's showing that the bigger corporation, aka McDonald's,
Hmm.
or the franchise that owns these places, aren't there enough to really care about what's
Correct.
happening inside, right? They're not focused on the bigger picture. I mean, McDonald's makes 2 billion gazillion hamburgers a day. And they
Yes.
sell 21 trillion burgers a day, right?
Right.
I don't think they care that I walk in trying to order something and one person leaves. Well, it's okay. One person left. There's 60 other people that are going to go through that drive through an hour that they're making money on, right? And that's something I thought about, right? Is that now it's all about the drive through. It's not about inside. They don't care. You
Mm.
get that drive through going, you keep it moving. That's where your money's at now. And then I
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
how their business model has changed, right?
Hmm.
Because now, again, back to our topic, right? Their comfort, right? They're comfortable skipping inside, work on the drive-through, just keep it moving. Who cares about the guy standing at the counter? Who cares what he's ordering? We got a car full of six people here. We're going to make our money. Who cares what he gets? And it's sad that I had to feel that way. That now they lost a customer because I'm not going back. Number one, McDonald's lost me from purchasing any meals anymore because I don't eat there anymore. Period. Because of that. I have a different place where I go now that's really affordable, but I don't even eat out much anymore. I've learned to manage how I do my
Hmm.
food now, so
Yeah.
I skip that altogether, you know.
Yeah.
But just the thought of tying this into the topic of what we're discussing, how convenient that was, it's all kind of fed into our topic,
Yeah.
right?
It
It's
does.
just how odd is it that these companies that are so big like that now don't care, you know? And you would think these smaller
Yeah.
business owners would catch on to this and say, well, if they're going to McDonald's and not really getting what they want, let's focus on that. And maybe we,
Mm.
as a small business owner, could draw in business by, hey, let's
Right.
start selling $2 sodas. Think about how much more you could make off of selling $2 sodas because they ain't paying $2 a soda for how
No.
much syrup and whatever carbonation they got in there. There's no way. Anybody that's watching this, that's in the industry, proves me wrong that your price you're paying for that is really worth more than a dollar. Prove me wrong.
I remember years and years ago, I lived for a while outside of Chicago, and I got pretty friendly with a guy who owned six burger franchises, 6 units or whatever they call them, franchises, I got whatever the term is, 6 locations. And I remember that the corporate office said dollar burgers. And they were all the owners, the franchise owners were screaming, how do I make money on a dollar burger? And the answer was you don't. Even if you break even, and that's questionable, you're not making the money on the burger. You're making the money on the fries, the soda, all the other things that come with it. So
Come
that's
with
what
it.
they keep pushing. It's a loss leader, and that's what they want. But if you don't buy anything other than the burger, so for a dollar a piece, I'll go in, I'll buy three, and after I don't feel well, I will have that. Okay. Try to be nice with that one. Because I
Right.
can't eat three, but I'll be a pig, right? Um,
Right.
but after you have your meal, go home, have some water. So it costs you $3. You ate more than you probably would have, and now you're good for hours, maybe into the next meal.
Yeah.
But that's because the corporate made a decision. Maybe they were looking to generate revenue by the extra stuff, which you're not buying.
Yeah.
So people are starting to wise up too. That's why there's a huge push for all these discount stores. There's a Dollar Tree. I think it's called Dollar Tree, 10 minutes walk from where I live. And I'm there all the time.
Yeah.
Now, there's certain things I won't buy, but there's a lot of things that I will. And why not? Why not?
The thing I started doing, and I'm big against helping any corporations, but this really isn't helping. Well, maybe it is helping. When they give me a receipt now for my little
Hmm.
lonely root beer that I buy, I do their survey and I bash them.
Hmm.
I bash them every time. I give them
Wow.
a bad survey and I tell them I waited too long. I stood there. Nobody acknowledged me
Hmm.
because you care more about the drive-through than you do a person who walked in your store, you
Yeah.
know? And I look around, is the place clean? And I go through that survey and I do it.
Yeah.
Now, they might not care. But if they're corporately owned, they're going to come right back down because I know I've heard people talk about it and say that, yes, we
Hmm.
hear about it when they're going to get a negative survey, you know. And I've had some that said, could you take a survey today for me? I say, yeah, absolutely. As long as it's a good visit, I tell the truth,
Yeah.
either way. But I bash them because if I'm not getting the service I deserve, you're going to
Hmm.
know about it, you know?
It only matters if either enough people do across the board or if enough in a specific location. That could mean something that the owner or the staff are not trained right or whatever the reason is. But a single bad review now and then doesn't matter. It's the
Yeah.
round file.
Yep. You're right. And also, that's a whole another topic that we could talk about in a whole other podcast episode. You get into the whole trail of everything that's causing this downslide, right? Because you got
Mm.
employees who don't care. You don't have the right employees that train. And I'm going to throw them. I'm going to just
Yeah.
gonna put it out here. I'm going to say it because I don't care. Chick-fil-A has it. They hire
Mm.
the right people. They care. You walk in any Chick-fil-A, and I feel like a king because they
Hmm.
take care of you. They care. Everything is done well. And it closed on Sundays. Oh, well, I can't get a chicken sandwich on Sunday. But they have it, you know.
Hmm.
Other than McDonald's, man, I only went there for convenience. I went there because it was cheap and easy
Right.
and always available somewhere.
Mm.
But I'm glad that this has happened because it shifted me to a healthier option. And
Yeah.
I'm saving a ton of money now because I'm not wasting money at these places anymore.
Yeah.
Paying, $6 for a burger, $4 for a fry. No, that
Yeah.
place, no, not at all. So
It
yeah, I
all,
mean,
yeah, starts at the top. Again,
yeah,
we go back to what we talked about.
yeah,
It's not easy to get to the top, but
yeah,
when you do, there's a saying in the corporate world, and again, I was there for a long time, so and I lived it. be careful as you go up the ladder because when you get to the top, if you're not there and you stepped on people to get up there, you're going to pass them on the way up. You're also going to
Right.
pass them on the way down.
Yep.
So when you get to that point, remember how you got there. It starts
Yeah.
with the team, the people in your business, it's your customers. There's a whole bunch of stuff that has to be maintained. And
Mhm.
whether you want to spend the money or not, look longer term, look bigger picture. You have to spend the money. You can trim here and there a little bit, but if you're going to make a change, follow it up with, to your point, follow it up with some surveys. What you to the clients, to the customers, what do you think about
Yeah.
the new burger? And let
But you know
them
what
tell you.
though? Right. But you know what though? I don't have all the answers. And I know they don't either. But let's work together to find a solution, right? That
Mm-hmm.
we can get into that middle path of, hey, we recognize we got a problem. Chuck gave us this report. We see some things. Now, how do we fix it, right? We can't fix
Mm.
everything,
Right.
but there are things that we could do, right? Get out
Mm-hmm.
of that comfort zone, as this topic is about today, right?
Yep.
Break that chain of sitting in that comfort zone, take off that cruise control and get control of your business again,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that you're paying attention to the numbers, you're paying attention to what your workers are saying and doing and reacting to.
Right.
Why should I stand there for 6 minutes? I'm a paying customer that walked into your location. Why am I standing there for 6 minutes and nobody's even acknowledged me? I know it's a fast food place. It's McDonald's. I get it. There are a million of them everywhere. But is that okay? No, it's not, right?
Do you
Yeah.
remember, and I don't know if it's still on or not, but for a long time there was a show on called Undercover CEO,
Undercover boss. Yep.
Undercover Boss. They
Yep.
should bring that back. I don't remember if it's still out there or not, but they should bring
Yeah, I
that
don't want
back.
to bring it back. Have me do it.
There you go.
Don't bring the show back. It's my show,
There
man.
you go. It's your show. But they
Yeah.
should. They
Yeah.
should.
Yeah. I mean,
Unless
exactly. Yeah.
unless the owner's top level management gets out and sees it day to day, they don't really know they
Yep.
really don't.
No.
And
And
it's just
sometimes
a
you don't even
general
think they
statement.
care. Yeah. And sometimes they don't even care,
Yeah,
you know?
agreed.
Yep.
Agreed.
So, hey, look, 516-727-2294. I know Steve's got a lot more to say about this topic as well with your business. So
Yeah.
reach out, man.
Yeah. And then Chuck's at 410-935-6132. And his experience could certainly help a business, understand what's good, what's bad, and why.
I don't know if my face has changed in this video when you're watching me, but I can feel my blood pressure boiling from talking about that incident yesterday because it's really got me for 2 days because I just get tired of feeling like I don't belong, you know?
Mm,
And it really makes me furious that even though it's a McDonald's, why do you not care, right? What drives this I don't care behavior? It blows my mind. It
yep.
does. It blows my mind.
Yeah.
If
I-
you want to survive in this economy right now, you have to have every customer that you can get a hold of.
correct.
So there's bad customers. I get it, but I'm not a bad customer. I wasn't raising a fit. I didn't throw something at the counter and say,
Mm,
why are you ignoring me? And jump across the counter and get the root beer myself, which I could have
mm,
done. Yeah, I've seen people do it, but
yeah.
it,
Yeah.
it blows my mind how we got here.
Mm,
So I don't know, but this went by very fast. I think
it
when we get in
did.
these
It did.
topics, these
Yeah. We're
episodes,
we're
man,
almost
we
out at
fly.
this point. Yeah, we're
Every
almost
time,
out.
man. It's crazy. It really is. It's
Yep.
like
Yep.
we get into this discussion. Next thing I look up, I'm like, man, we're out of time. And
No.
I think almost every episode we
Yeah.
do, we can probably do a second, third, and fourth episode
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we never really finish. So I think next one, Steve, we should go back and look at some of our episodes and see what can we follow up with. That will be
Hmm.
probably a
Yeah.
good one.
Might be an idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So
All right.
anyway, hey, great episode. Great seeing you again. Have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great
You
evening,
too.
weekend, and we will talk soon.
You got it. Thanks, Chuck.
Sir, man. Take care, Steve. Take care,
Yeah.
everybody.
And because it's 4 o'clock somewhere.
You beat me to it. Hey, before we end, man, it's They're Friday at 4 because it's 4 o'clock
It's 4
somewhere.
o'clock somewhere.
You always beat me to it, man. You're getting it. You're
Sorry.
getting better. It used to be me having to tell you. Now you're getting it against me, man. I love it.
Sorry. Just want to make sure we don't
No,
run
I
out of
love
time.
it. I love it, man. Steve, have a great one, buddy. We'll
You
talk
too.
soon, man.
Thanks, Chuck. Take it
See
easy.
you, buddy.
Bye.
You've been watching the Friday at 4 podcast series with your host Charles Luttrell and co-host Steve Kent. Thanks for watching.